Here with Brock Zacherl this morning. Hey, Brock, thanks for taking the time to weigh in with me.
Yeah, the pleasure's all mine. I love talking to you.
Hey, it's been a while. We were just talking about it. It's been a little while since we've talked. Can you tell me a little bit about, your season-ending injury, and then we're going to go forward from there. But tell me a little. You got hurt last year at the Cliff Keen, I believe.
Yep. I had basically I tore my UCL, so it's in your elbow, and luckily for me, I got sent to a really great surgeon. He's the guy that operates on all the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he had did an awesome job with my surgery. Recovery was great, and honestly, I was pretty bitter at first, but the more things kind of unfolded, and especially now that I'm back into working out and wrestling, it was one of the best things that's ever happened to me. I got to learn a lot. It was really good to just focus on the mental side of wrestling when I couldn't compete or train, and it really did a lot for me, a lot of good.
Can we just dive into that? You said you were a little bitter at first. I mean, I know injuries to like high-level athletes can really mess sometimes emotionally, mentally. Can you just share some of the stuff that you went through?
Yeah, so initially I thought I was good because we were about to wrestle Pitt after that, and I was at a Brookville Duel, and I was telling all the fans there, I was like, oh, I'll be back for Pitt for sure. And then we got an MRI just to be safe because it didn't hurt at all.
No kidding.
And they told me that my season was done. And at that point, I didn't realize it was 33 or 30% of dates. I thought it was just your matches. Yeah. And at that point, I wrestled like 15 matches, so I was crushed. Yeah. But then, they quickly explained to me there was dates, and then I would probably be in good shape. But even then, I mean, there was a long time whenever I was pretty nervous about whether I was going to get a red shirt or not. But luckily, things went my way. A lot of our ADs, they worked their butts off to get me that year, and I was a pain in a lot of people's butts. But, I'm really thankful that they helped me through it.
Now, they've been giving out the medical waiver quite a bit. I mean, you said there was people helping you along the way. I mean, was there ever any point when you were starting to doubt that you were going to get one?
No, right off the get-go, just because it's being that I want to get into coaching, it's nice that I kind of went through this. I just didn't know the rules and the intricacies of it. Okay. And, when I started asking questions, then I started to get less and less worried because no one was really worried at the time, and which confused me because I was just going bonkers. But then whenever I started asking questions, they started to make me feel a lot better.
Now, you said you were a lot better wrestler having gone through the process. Tell me a little bit, what specifically, like where did it start turning for you where you felt like you were getting better on the mental side? Where were you, in this whole trajectory?
Yeah, so once I figured out, I couldn't compete, I couldn't really train, I started to focus. I just asked myself, what can I do to get better right now? And it was real obvious right away that it was on the mental side. And luckily for me, the coaches there kind of let me take on sort of like a coaching role kind of there. Uh-huh. And so I started helping people out. And the things you notice in matches whenever you take a step back from competing and look at things from like a coaching perspective, it's unbelievable. And the mental changes I was able to make, I really learned the mistakes I was making mentally. And the biggest one that jumps out to me was I never lost to a guy that I was like, that guy was a better wrestler than me. A lot of times when I lose, it was from being afraid to lose. And, I would always be up on people and then end up, 30 seconds left, they catch me with a takedown just because I stopped scoring. And then, over the course of 6 months, I had a lot of time to just dig in there and find out the mistakes I was making mentally. And then the second thing was I realized if I got a threat on top of that, I would be really close to unbeatable. And so I had a lot of time to just sit down and figure out mentally what would work for me. And then the guy I watched a lot was Ethan Lezak, and I learned a lot from watching him. And he does something very special and very unique. And the way I do it's not exactly like him, but it's very, very similar, and I'm having a ton of success with it.
No
so
kidding.
Those two things really helped me a lot.
Now, do you know him? I know you're opposite sides of the state.
We crossed paths a couple times. We're by no means friends or anything, but I'm sure if we saw each other, we'd say what's up. But no, as far as like really knowing each other, no, we wrestled on a couple freestyle teams growing up. That was about it.
So this is all watching film and then trying to make it work for your body type.
Yep, and when I say hours, I mean hours. Just really like slow motion, seeing where he's putting things where. I just realized like, if you want to learn to get good on top, he's the guy to look to.
It's pretty tough.
And yeah, so I realized the thing he was doing, because it's kind of like a freestyle variation of what we did when we were on those same teams, was called a flank. So that was when I figured that out. I started to make a lot of progress.
Now, a lot of guys will tell me, I've talked to a lot of guys who've made the transition to coaching, and you kind of said you're taking a little bit of a coaching role. Yeah, they always tell me they get better after they're done competing. I mean, it sounds like this helped you make some mental leaps, the time off during your career.
Yeah, I 100% feel that, because I've been told that too. And I always kind of thought it was kind of, I don't get the logic behind it, but I did feel it. I do feel like much. For me, I can kind of explain it. Things kind of like slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not like spazzy and crazy like I once was.
Spazzy. Okay. So when did you get back on the mat for the first time?
Well, from being honest, it was about 3 months. But what was nice about it being an elbow was I was in a cast for a little bit after surgery, about 2 weeks. And then as soon as I got that off, I started working out again. It was all basically like stance and motion stuff.
Yep.
But so after 2 weeks, I was working out, but I didn't start wrestling again until about 3 months-ish, 4 months-ish.
Now, were you 100% at that point, or were you just working?
No, it was basically just like drilling at first, and then it started working its way into a play wrestle, and then about 6 months is whenever I started going full tilt again.
Gotcha. And when did you find out about your medical waiver?
I want to say it was about June-ish, maybe. Okay. But it was such an awesome day because I was actually fishing at the time.
Oh, no kidding.
And my heart started beating out of control when I read the email, and I had to sit down. I was real pumped. But it was crazy. I've never felt anything like that in my life. I was real happy.
Now, you've moved up in weight. Will you still be at 149?
Yeah, that's the plan right now. The thing is, I walk around at like 53, 54 right now. And I've lost some weight, and I'm pretty lean right now. But the thing for me is I just feel so much benefit in just wrestling close to what you weigh, as long as you're an athlete and you're lean.
Yeah.
I feel phenomenal, and I don't feel weak or anything. I felt strong last year wrestling some of those guys like Leith and Jordan. So I just don't see the point.
What historically was your relationship like with cutting weight? Like when you were at 41, were you still walking around at 53, or were you just smaller? Or
no, that's funny you say that, because when I was wrestling 41, I would always be like 65. Sometimes I'd even be close to 70. I'd be like
really?
A fat lard. The thing for me is I'm just being honest. I'm just not mature with it. I'm not mature about it, and it would always really get to me. The mental side of cutting weight, it just was tough on me. And being honest, like I said, I just wasn't mature enough for it. And that's a change I definitely need to make. And I was always really, really good at cutting weight for the freestyle circuit, unbelievable at it. But the thing that's always hard for me, which is what most people say is easy, is the maintaining it. For me, that was the hard part.
The hard part. So do you see yourself, just talking about it, you had a lot of success in freestyle. Will you go back on that circuit at all? And will you be cutting, or will you not be?
Absolutely. I 100% plan to do the freestyle circuit. I plan to make the Olympic team this year. I'm going to give it everything I got. But yeah, I'll cut to 65, see how things go there. So 143.
Yep.
I don't think that will be too big of an issue. And then possibly one day maybe cut to the 61 kgs, 34. Okay. Do that again, because I did that once. I weighed about the same as I do now, and it was a big cut and it was tough. But I like I said, I did it right. Like I didn't even have to run any extra workouts that whole week. I cut my weight right for that. So I plan on giving that a shot one day, but we'll see how 65 goes first. Because I think I can hang with any of those guys.
Gotcha. Now, what's your nutritional diet like? Are you eating junk food, or are you eating healthy?
Now, that's one thing I can really say I never did. Like, I would always eat good. It's just too much of it. So, like, I was always pretty good about not eating junk food and stuff. But the thing is I would eat too much. And now, green beans kind of is the thing that saved me. Now I'm at 49.
Yeah.
So, like, whenever I get hungry, I'll just eat a can of green beans if it's not, like, breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Gotcha.
And, that helps a lot.
Green beans, the snack of champions.
It's the secret. It's Coach back when I was in 5th grade. He told me about it. But it's funny. I didn't listen to him until this year, basically.
I'm pretty sure they're one of the foods. I'm pretty sure that they require as much energy to metabolize as you get from eating them because of the fiber. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% positive about that, but that's what I was told. A long time ago.
I believe it. Because they never put any weight on me.
So, like, what if you're really gonna act out? Like, what's the worst thing that you enjoy eating? Is it like Rita's something or donuts?
Oh, it's milkshakes. I always am craving them. Wrestling season, I always want a milkshake. And I like I said, I usually do pretty good. I don't ever really eat out or do anything crazy, but that's the one thing that I just say, like, after weigh-ins, I would kill for a milkshake right now. So milkshakes, definitely my vice.
No one, they're delicious.
So good.
So your walk around weight is low 50s. Do you think not cutting weight takes mental pressure off and just allows you to have a lower walk around weight than you did it when you were at 41?
I 100% do, and that's kind of like the 41-pounder we have now is. He was at 49, and when he'd wrestle 49, he'd be pretty light too at this time. Now that he's wrestling, making cut to 41, he's kind of heavier right now. So it's funny too because he was like, there was a couple times in the summer where he was like 46 a couple times, and now that it's like close to getting time, he's like a little bit heavier. So I do think it plays a huge part, and I don't know what the secret is around it or anything. I think it's just something that will always be tough.
That's crazy, stress eating. Now, did you guys get a transfer from Drexel Elfin?
Yes, and I'm really excited. He's an awesome kid. He's working really hard. He's doing really well, and we're hoping he's going to be our 57-pounder this year.
Now, who are your primary workout partners?
So for me, what's lucky for me, we have a lot of freshmen, too, that were under the radar. Uh-huh. We got a kid from West Virginia, Alec Cook, a kid from New York, John Worthing. A bunch of other ones, a couple of Jersey guys, a Maryland guy. But so those guys are all doing a really good job pushing me. And then we got guys like Trevor. We got Tate Orts, who's the guy I love rolling around with. And we just got Coach Kraser coming in. Okay. So Nathan Kreiser from Campbell, he's an All-American. He'll be good for me. And then another guy who's under the radar, we got big, tall. The kid's like 6 foot tall. He's like 160 pounds. And I'm not sure what weight he plans on wrestling this year, but his name's Avery Shea. He's a kid from Connecticut, and he does an awesome job of giving me just a goofy, unique feel that you won't get anywhere else. I hate wrestling him, but it does a lot of really good things for me.
Going into your final season, the competition, does it feel any different? Like, do you feel sad or pressure or relief, or what's going through your mind looking forward to the season?
I'll tell you, it does feel different, but it's just after being hurt, I realized like how much I loved what I was doing. So, like, if you see me in the wrestling room, it's really hard to find me without a smile on my face. Which some people might look at that as a bad thing, but I feel amazing. I just feel like I'm ready to take on anybody, whoever they put in front of me, and I'm super excited. Whereas before, I'd be way more serious, and I think it's good to be serious, but it's also really important to realize how lucky you are to be doing what you're doing, and how happy that it makes me to be doing it.
How about now? I don't know. I'm not sure how to say it, but have you looked? A lot of talent has left the 149 weight class. Are you looking ahead at who you're going to be wrestling there, and are you like doing little mental rankings for yourself?
I do, and that was kind of one of the other things is the more and more I spent time like getting hurt, and especially sitting back at watching NCAAs. I went and watched this year. I realized like both those guys in the finals, which they were kind of significantly better than the rest of the field. Yeah. They graduated, which was, I hate to be that guy, but that's a good thing. And, the rest of those guys that are there, I'm ready to beat them. And I think we're all pretty close. and I'm just looking to do everything I can to really separate that gap. Because my coach in high school, he told me something that really was true, and he said that tournament's all about who's hot. And you know, as right as he is, I know that that's true, and I want to be able to win that tournament even when I'm not hot. So I don't want to rely on basically being lucky that if I'm hot or not to win that tournament. I want to separate myself from the rest of the field, and I think I can do that.
Clarion is a small Pennsylvania, school. Do you feel like you get as much recognition nationally as, maybe your talent is warranted?
No, I think that will change very soon. The one thing we'll kind of talk about a little bit is our ADs. They haven't been there a super long time, but these last couple of years, you're just now starting to see the changes that they made take effect. Our whole sports program is starting to blow up. We just had an awesome first week of fall sports. They're dominating, and we just got a new president too, who's on board. She's got the heart of a champion, and those three people are doing everything they can to see us win. So we haven't got a ton of recognition, and honestly, I don't really think we deserved it, but that's going to change. And I think we got that new building that's going to open up here in October. And I think not just wrestling, I think all of our sports teams are going to have an amazing year. And you're going to start to see Clarion a lot in headlines. And I think we will deserve it. And I've been telling everyone it's going to be the golden era. It's going to be a really good time to jump on the Clarion bandwagon.
Now, look, no one's going to be paying attention to this video. Can you just tell us something embarrassing about the coaching staff, Coach Ferraro, anybody?
Man, I don't know. Something going on right now. Coach DeLoya, he's our volunteer assistant. He's a wrestling wizard. His technique is out of this world. But I don't know if he thinks this is embarrassing or what, but he's battling a kidney stone for quite some time.
Those
now.
Are painful.
And so he thinks that if he wrestles, it'll like somehow help it out. I don't know how it works. He might be right. But that's kind of funny watching this whole process. He'll be like running the workout. I don't know if everyone knows, but he has a kidney stone. You can kind of see him. Sometimes he's in a lot of pain trying to show a move or
starts
doing
wheezing.
certain things.
No kidding.
Yeah, it starts wheezing, and like he'll be halfway showing a move, and then he's got to go sit down for a second, take a couple deep breaths. But yeah, that's funny right now.
Nothing like seeing a coach in pain.
Right.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So give the people a little insight into what kind of self-talk and thinking you have during practice and during a match.
So during practice, I focus solely on technique until I start feeling myself get tired. And then once I get tired, I stop worrying about technique altogether. So if we do like a long play go or maybe like a grind match or something, at first the only thing I'll care about is my technique. Is it perfect? Is it good? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? And then analyzing every single thing that I do. And then once I start to feel, I'm breathing heavy, I'm getting tired, the only thing I care about is training, never stop wrestling into me. And I think that's really, really important. And as far as matches, I like to keep a really in the past, I would be super, super relaxed. And I don't think that that's the best way to do it. I think being relaxed is very important. But you need to bring like a relaxed intensity to it. So the one thing I like to do is just be smiling the whole time. I love what I do. I think wrestling is a very serious sport, but I don't think it has to be. I think there's a lot of art to it. And so I like to be smiling. And then my only goal is to put 10-plus points on the board. And that I don't care how many points my opponent scores. What happens, I want to put 10-plus points on the board. And that's what I'm thinking in a match. I got to get to 10 points. And that means I can get taken down, 3-4 times. I don't care. I'm going to put up 10-plus points. And that's helped me a lot, getting over, people get so caught up in getting scored on and not scored on and winning. But that's really, when it comes down to it, 7 minutes doesn't seem like much. But we talk to any wrestler, it's a long time. And so giving up points really is not a big deal. So that's something I've been working on a lot, and I think you'll see a lot in my matches this year.
Now, you've wrestled a lot, both folk style, freestyle. Do you ever replay any matches in your mind? Do you, losses, wins?
Yeah, they're all losses. Not many wins.
Okay.
I care to replay. They're all losses. And
do they drive you?
The ones. What's that?
I'm sorry. Do they drive? Can you tell me a specific one? Does it drive you? Does it upset you? Like, where are you at with?
Yeah, they're all positive.
Okay.
And that's the thing that's kind of helped me make that change, get over fear of losing, is I always look back and say, I tell my kids I work with in the summers too, I was like, yeah, loss was it really that bad? Like, are you really that upset now? And the answer is no. Does it sting? Absolutely. Do I wish I won? Absolutely. There's two big ones. Well, three. The first one is Dean Howe. Long story short, is a battle of a match. I was winning a good portion of the match, but I put the brakes on. And then 30 seconds, well, no, it's probably a little bit longer. He took me down and took the lead late in the third. So, that one really stung just because, like I told you, that's what's gotten me in trouble. That's what lost me a lot of matches, putting the brakes on. And so that one stung. The next one is Jay Nyerman. We had a really good game plan on him. And right at the beginning of the match, I took him down, real clean double, right, and cut him. And then I can remember thinking, like, well, I'm just going to hang out for a little bit. That was a pretty easy takedown. And, it wasn't 7 seconds later I was pinned. So after having a thought like that and then just getting pinned in the quarterfinals of NCAAs, that one really hurt. Out of all of them, that one was definitely the one I regret the most. And I'll never forget about that. He posted a video or something on Instagram. And I had it saved. And every once in a while, when I want some motivation, I'll go ahead and watch that video.
Really?
It was nice. It was nice, but just my thought process right before that happens, I'm just now never forget. And last one is Jordan. And actually, I got beat up that match, and I don't like the way I wrestled in Vegas, which is crazy because I had a really good tournament. But when I watch my film, it just kind of makes me sick, the style of wrestling I was doing. But he was throttling me, right? I mean, there's just no way around it. He was throttling me, and I will never in my life admit that someone's 10 points better. I don't think anyone's better than me ever. But he throttled me that match, and the thing that I really respect about myself, and you can't see it watching it, but I never quit. I never gave up, and I was constantly thinking about ways to score on him. And then I knew basically whenever I was down by 10, I'd lost the match. But every time I get up, I'd say, like, let's connect with something, give us something to work with for March.
Yeah.
And to me, that was a big breakthrough. I told you I'd always shut up shop before. I was always so scared to lose. And during that match, I really felt like I didn't care about losing anymore. I felt like I was thinking the right way to become a champion. And so I always think about that match kind of in a positive way, even though I got kind of beat up,
Gotcha. You mentioned Ethan Lezak earlier. Is there anybody else that you enjoy watching videos of and learning from?
Oh, tons. Most of them are foreigners. I really don't watch too many USA guys, especially my main roles are no one at my own weight do I idolize, and then mostly not USA guys. I love watching Jordan Burroughs, the way he wrestles. James Green, too, I'll throw him in there. And then, my favorite international guys are Kudakov and Chamizo. Defensively, I've learned so much from Chamizo. And, basically what I try to do, Floyd Mayweather's talked about it, where he watches all these boxers and puts what he likes from in one box. And that's what I do. I find a lot of guys that wrestle my style, and even a couple guys, like Chamizo and Lezak that don't wrestle my style, but I take what they're good at that I think I can use, and I put it in my box, and then we'll shake it up and see what comes out, and I think it'll be something really, really good.
If you could write a script for yourself this season, what would be on there?
So Clarion Open champ. I want to win Vegas, and then I want to win 5 matches in a row in March. I don't care about the conference tournament per se. I don't honestly, you've heard people say 100 times, I kind of want to lose before NCAA. So if I don't win Vegas, great. If I don't win the Open, great. I want to lose. But the only time I care to win is those 5 matches in a row in March. So if I had to write a script, I want to go undefeated, win it all, and I want to win a Hodge Trophy. That's a big goal of mine this year. And being an All-American isn't good enough for me. So there's been a lot of All-Americans at Clarion, not too many champs, and I want to be someone that they talk about forever at Clarion, and I won't do that unless I become a champ. So that's what I want to do.
Talking about goals, are they written down somewhere, or are they just in your brain?
Yeah, actually, I have them up here right in my room on my mirror. There's there's a Hodge Trophy, NCAA champ and Olympic champ, just right there. I see them every morning when I look in the mirror, and does it help? I don't know, but they're there.
Are you sharing these goals with other people? Like you tell everybody?
Oh yeah. That's what I'm pretty blunt. I tell people what I think, and I'm a straight shooter. I tell people what I want to do. I tell them that now I can do it, and whether I do it or not, it's a way of holding myself accountable, and that's why I kind of like these guys that smack talk every once in a while, because deep down I think they know it's not personal. It's a way of holding yourself accountable, and it's something that people like to see, and that's kind of what I like with it. Because in practice sometimes now, even I'll start talking smack, and everyone in the room knows that I'm kidding, I'm not being serious, but it's a way to hold myself accountable, and it's something that I've done it for a short amount of time, but it really does work.
So speaking of smack talk, is there anybody that you don't like wrestling, or you just don't like in wrestling?
I respect everybody at 149, all of them, but I hate them all too. So I want to beat them all up. The one kid is the Brock Mueller kid from Mizzou.
Yeah.
I want to wrestle him bad. He's never said anything to me, but I remember when I posted that I got my red shirt, someone from Missouri commented on it and said something. He never said anything personally, but I like that. I like seeing that, and it's something. I can't wait to wrestle him. And I can't remember why I said that. I don't think it was anything too smack talky, but I really want to get my hands on that kid. I want to wrestle him. And I'm super excited because he's very, very unique. He'll definitely challenge me for sure. And but I want to throttle him. He's one of the guys. If I can separate myself from him, then I'm ready to separate myself from the rest of the pack. And he's someone I know I've crossed paths with, so I'm really excited for that one specifically.
Gotcha.
And Austin O'Connor too. The guy that hurt me. So
yeah,
I want to get my hands on him. Like I said, I hated the way I was wrestling in Vegas. I was wrestling like a big, strong Iowa guy for some reason. I don't know. That's not how I wrestle. But I really want to get that match back and see where that goes, because honestly, that first period was a snooze fest. So I want to see some fireworks when we wrestle.
Gotcha. Now, transitioning to your future, you're getting a grad degree right now. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm getting my master's in business administration.
And in 20 years, where do you see yourself?
Hopefully, at 20 years, I'm head coach at Clarion. We're a top 5 team in the country, and I'm a big part of the town itself. I want to make the towns of Brookville and Clarion better places, not just for the athletes, for wrestling, for my family, but for everybody. That's what I want to do.
Now, whenever we talk wrestling, whether it's in person or over Skype here, you're always smiling, like talking about wrestling. What is it that you love about the sport? Because you clearly, when you come across to me, that you love the sport.
Yeah, man, I don't know. That's like, I've always loved it, and I've always loved talking about it, but now it's just, oh my gosh, I get scored on a lot now in practice, and before it used to really tick me off, and everyone in the room will tell you, but now, I enjoy it. We just had our first single Friday, and the kid I was wrestling took me down right off the bat, and I was smiling at that fact, and I think that's a really, really strong indicator that you just love what you're doing. I don't know what it is about it. I love that there's just so many different angles to be successful at this sport. I don't think you get that anywhere else. And anyone can do it, any size, any shape, long, strong, the fast guy, the slow guy. Every single person on this earth can be a successful wrestler, and just the technique and the thought process behind everything. I love it. I can't get enough. Gotcha.
Hey, what would you say is your biggest disappointment in wrestling? Injury or some of those losses you think about, or something different?
It's definitely the regret that I have of, even last year I did a pretty good job of getting over that putting the brakes on people, but it's just those first 3-4 years wherever I would just score some points and then just sit on leads, and I just really feel like I took a lot away from myself. I haven't even All-American yet, and I have definitely had the ability, and a lot of people like to point fingers and blame this guy and this guy, but it was definitely all on me. I've always had the training, I've always had the ability, I've always had the practice partners to push me. And it's just, when it kind of came down to those 7 minutes, I wasn't willing to do whatever it took. I put the brakes on whenever I should have been gunslinging, and That's definitely the thing that I regret the most and hurts the most.
How about your biggest accomplishment? Like, what do you think back? Like, is there something that you think of specifically as your best accomplishment?
Man, no, really, I don't, because I think for me, the thing is I'm always looking forward. So whenever I accomplish something, I check it off and move to the next thing. And like I said, I haven't even became an All-American yet. So, like, when you talk about accolades, I came in saying I was going to be a 4-time champ. So my expectations for myself are pretty dang high, and I by no means have come close to accomplishing those yet. So when I look back, the highlight of my career probably was that junior world team trials my freshman year.
Yeah.
Just because it really was a stacked weight at the time, and I just really loved the way I was wrestling. And I was always did a better job of wrestling in freestyle than folk style, as far as putting the pedal to the floor.
Uh-huh.
And that whole tournament, I did a really great job of just staying where I wanted to stay and then pulling the trigger the entire match. And that's something I just, when I think about how I want to wrestle, I've made a lot of changes since then from my style and the way I attack, and I've grown a lot. But that mindset is something I really am proud that I had for that tournament, and I look to mimic every single time I wrestle.
Gotcha. I know might be a big list, but who would you consider, your biggest mentors or best coaches that have gotten you to this place right now?
Well, it really is not that big of a list.
Okay.
It's basically at Brookville. I was blessed to have Coach Klepfer, Dave Klepfer. He still coaches there now. He taught me, everything I know about wrestling. He's the best. He's the best coach I've ever come across ever. And, I've spent time at the Olympic Training Center, traveled to all these different RTCs and worked out with a lot of guys. But, he is the best that I've ever come across. And then, at Clarion, I've been blessed to have Coach Deloy come with me. He's a Brookville guy too, who's just really understands my style specifically and has been able to help me adjust and make changes. And the thing he does better than anyone is he just keeps me on track. Like all the little tiny things that start to get worse as I become complacent, too comfortable, he keeps me accounted for in those departments. And then Coach Ferrero, he was a Brookville guy too. He's coached me since I was 10 years old, and he's seen me fail a lot in my career, and he's never once gave up on me. I always think back to whenever I won World Team Trials, I'd wrestle off with Joey McKenna at the Olympic Training Center out in Colorado. It was in the middle of summer. He's got a wife and 3 kids that I'm sure he would love to spend time with, and he flew out there to help coach me. And, I lost 2 in a row. I got teched the one time. And not for a single second did he think that I wasn't ready to accomplish what I said I was. So, he stood by me through a lot of disappointments and losses. And, that's why I can't wait to win a national title for him.
Nice. Okay. What's your favorite music or musician or whatever you?
Oh, man, I'm all over the place. I really, I like rap, but so does everybody. I have a huge love for pop music. I love pop music. I love working out to pop music, but it's kind of like the pop music with like a dance EDM vibe to it. That's my jam. I like that a lot. And then I like the old school rappers like Biggie Smalls and Tupac. I like them a lot.
Do you warm up to music?
I do, yeah. But if I'm warming up, I will typically warm up to rap music or Tupac and Biggie, those kinds of things. Not the pop. That's a workout.
Gotcha. Who's got the worst hair on your team?
Oh, worst hair. Let me take a stab at this. Oh, I don't know.
Does that mean it's you?
No, it's definitely not me. It's definitely not me. We'll say I'll take. We'll take Jake Gramacki, and it's not on him. He's just balding already. But he's a 6-year just like me, so he's old, so he's got an excuse.
He's got your milk. I can't comment. Who's the funniest guy on your team?
Funniest guy? Probably, it's definitely Coach Deloy. He is hilarious. He's got a sharp tongue. He's real witty. So that's what makes him funny.
Hey, to get you out of here, tell people a little bit about Clarion Wrestling. Like, what's it like to be part of that experience?
Clarion Wrestling is the best place to be, just period. Like I said, it's a great time to jump on the bandwagon. And here's why we're better than anywhere else. Because I really do believe we're going to become a top 5 team sooner or later. And when that happens, we will still always be the underdog. You know, it's like kind of like what you see with Lock Haven right now. They're one of the better teams, but every time you see Clarion or a school like Lock Haven knock off, you know, like Arizona State, or if we beat Michigan State, you know, people get pumped up no matter what. And it's just because it's small school Clarion, you know, beating a Big Ten school. People love to see it. So no matter how good you get, you will always be the underdog, and people love to cheer for the underdog. So that's kind of why I love Clarion, why I love to wrestle for them, and why it's a great place to be.
Hey, Brock, thanks for the time. Good luck this season. I'll be watching, and hopefully see you Matt side.
Yes, you will. I can't wait. Nice talking to you.